welcome to video number 13 of the Greater Reality Healing Program. I'm Dr. Mark Pitstick. To learn more about my training, experience, and outreaches, please visit soulproof.com/about. Please watch previous videos if you haven't already. And finally, the articles mentioned in here are free at soulproof.com/articles. In this video, we're discussing key number 12 to journeying from deeply grieving to brightly shining. And this key is one of the biggest ones, sharing your greatest gifts. So this program, again, for people who are suffering, having a tough time with any kind of changes. And you understand from a limited human perspective, even bodily death of loved ones, people and pets, can appear as a horrible, senseless tragedy in a chaotic, uncaring universe, but actually they're just changes. They're shifts. Nothing is lost. It's all love and light, and nothing ends. You don't lose those relationships. So the more you can shift to seeing these things, and again, whether it's aging, financial loss, loss of health, or shifts in your health, broken relationships, etc., the more you can see them as shifts and changes versus losses and tragedies, the quicker you can snap back from them, heal, find the silver linings, use those to help yourself and others around you, and do what you as a soul came here to do. So again, sharing your greatest gifts, helping others, is one of the biggest keys. I've seen so many amazing examples of this. Serving others helps you as well as them. And so one key to when you're going through deep grief is to look around and observe, how can I help? Many years ago, when I was just getting started with writing and teaching, I wanted to reach more people. I independently asked Wayne Dyer and Bernie Siegel, both huge authors and teachers in their time. This is what, the mid-80s, early 90s. And they both said, so I said, how can I reach more people? And they both said the same thing. Every morning, they say a prayer to God and say, please show me, how can I help others? Simple as that. How can I help? Doing this in your loved one's name, if you have a loved one who's passed on, honors them and creates more meaning to their passing. It also makes them very proud of you. You know, instead of you getting stuck in spiritual ignorance and the illusion that you can lose love, you're rising above and taking the high road, and they're cheering and jumping. You can bet. So this transformation, this serving others and making this shift in awareness, is like a sacred, or it is a sacred process of alchemy, like creating gold from straw, and it's a joy to behold. Since working with many parents at Helping Parents Heal since 2014 rather, I've seen many parents turn the corner after serving others in small or large ways. Some start foundations, others volunteer at church or fundraisers. Some work at, help the homeless or in other ways. Here's one of the most powerful examples I've witnessed. First, I get multiple emails every day from people around the world. And, boy, there's a lot of people really going through a tough time. And that's partly how I've learned how to share this program. I've been taught by so many people over the years and have come up with the articles, the books, the audio programs, etc., to give them what they need to fly again. So several years ago, I received an email from an older woman, and she wrote, my husband, son, and family dog all passed on in the last year. They were all I had, and I just can't take the pain and loneliness anymore. I've decided to move on by suicide, and I just wanted to tell someone goodbye before I did. I followed your work for many years, and I knew you would understand. you talk about heavy stuff, right? But after dealing with all this for over 50 years, it's just, it's just everyday thing for me. People say, how do you deal with all this? I'm like, just do it a lot for 50 years and it becomes second nature. So I replied, I'm sorry for all the understandable pain and suffering you've gone through after 3 deaths in such a short period of time. No one could or should judge you for deciding that you've had enough. Your spiritual support team, angels, guides, master teachers, and the light certainly will not judge, shame, or punish you. Quite likely your loved ones will welcome you when you pass over. I continued, however, there's some evidence that indicates that if you do pass by suicide, your soul, your energy may need to rest and recharge for a while before re-entering the flow of life and being with them on a regular basis. So let me take a sidetrack for a moment. From what I've seen for suicides, they see the light, they have a reunion, but then sometimes it's needed or it's wise for them to have a period of rest and relaxation, recharging, and then counseling, because let's look at, we've been talking about low and high energies throughout. So you tell me, when someone chooses suicide, you think they're feeling the highest emotions? Usually not. They're usually feeling sadness, loneliness, regret, guilt, fear, all kinds of things. Maybe even anger at themselves or a God that would, your husband, your son, only child, and your dog all in 1 year. Come on, that's double teaming. So, as we've discussed, the nature of the afterlife is directly affected by your consciousness, your energy at the time of passing. So, to be clear, this isn't a punishment, this need for R&R for a while. That's not punishment from an angry God. It's just predictable rehab after energy-draining emotions. Again, sadness, despair, guilt, fear, etc., from before, during, and after suicide. It's just like an athlete on a field. If you sprain an ankle badly, you're going to need some rehab before you can run again. And the same way with a soul, a person. So I said to her, so actually, you might be around your loved ones more fully and sooner if you can find a way to complete your earthly curriculum, if you can find a way to stay on earth. And I said, one way that many deeply grieving people have found is serving others in need. That helped the suffering person have a breakthrough instead of a breakdown. So I gave her some recommended resources and articles and audio programs and so on, just like we're doing here. And that was it. Now I get emails like this fairly often. Sometimes I never hear from the person. I don't know if they chose suicide or not. I can't let that get to me. I can't hold myself responsible. I've learned that someone decides to pass on, they're going to. There's no preventing them, really. So I let it go. I do the best I can, and I just know that it's all good, it's all God. And if they do choose suicide this time around, then perhaps they'll choose to try it again and fulfill all their earthly curriculum. Or maybe it was timely for them to pass by suicide. This is a big, big topic, and I'll give you an article at the end of this video that talks more about all the aspects of it. But a couple months ago, I received an email from her, and she said, I wanted to let you know I took your advice and it worked. 3 times a week, I work at a local soup kitchen. I think of my loved ones and silently say their names with every plate of food I hand out. I'm going to make them proud of me and stay on earth until my work here is done. Sometimes I think I can feel them smiling down on me and cheering me on. Thank you for showing me another way and helping me know that I will see them again in a blink of an eye. Wow, that's what I call powerful, right? When Native Americans call strong as a bear. So again, this woman had 3 big changes in a short period of time, and understandably, she felt like she couldn't go on. However, serving others helped her take one day at a time, honor the natural rhythms of earthly birth and death. In other words, all things considered, I think it's better if you can pass on in a natural way, a natural timing, rather than choose that, force that. Not that it's an unforgivable sin, it's not, but because we humans don't have the wisdom to see all the factors involved to make that big of a decision. Some of the time, much of the time at least. Again, it's a big topic. So choosing a higher energy path through loving service also helped her feel her dear ones more keenly, and this is really important. You know, we talked about being on the same wavelength as your dear ones who have changed worlds. They're in a realm characterized by peace, joy, love, gratitude, enthusiasm, enlightenment. Now, that doesn't mean they are forced to get with the program. That doesn't mean they instantly become that way after they pass on. But without the density of Earth and the limitations of this human body and brain, it's easier to see that's how things really are. That's the real nature of reality. That's the light, instead of getting caught up in the darkness as can happen while on Earth. And so people on Earth who purposely, day by day, moment by moment, choose to focus on the positive, even if it seems like there's 99 negatives going on, then they put themselves more on that same wavelength. Their energy is more congruent with their loved ones in the next stage of life, and they report more clear and more frequent perceptions of them, sensing their living presence. That in itself is very important. Also, helping others is an excellent way to share your greatest gifts, that is, to fulfill your soul's missions. So it helps you help others, it helps you heal, helps fulfill your missions, and can help you put you more on the same wavelength. You know, what's that, a quadruple win? Evidence from multiple sources indicates that we each come to Earth with special talents and reasons for being here at this time. And when we fulfill those purposes, we're more in alignment with our real selves, our spiritual support team, and the light. People who aren't following these missions, and we've talked about this before, but it's such a key point, I'll repeat it, often feel what they variously describe as existential malaise, boredom, depression, creative discontent. And a common cause of that is they're just not doing what they came here to do. They're not in the life flow. They're shutting themselves out from the real energy because they aren't fulfilling their soul's plan. Scholar, brilliant author, one of my beloved teachers, Joseph Campbell, put it this way: if you follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you. Then the life that you ought to be living is the one that you are living. Wow, I definitely put that one on a sheet. I did for many years. So you see it every day. Yeah. Now, one of the most common questions I receive from people around the world is, how can I know what my soul's missions are and fulfill them? That is, how can I serve others? How can I make the world a better place? You might not be surprised by now to learn that I've created an article, number 21, and an audio program entitled Identify and Fulfill Your Purposes and Create Your Greatest Life for this purpose. That dual title is used because they're so close together. When you identify and fulfill your soul's purposes, that's when you create the greatest life that you, your real self, has envisioned. So make sure you use that. Suggested action steps for this key: consider how you can share your greatest gifts, help others, after prayer, meditation, or another way to access your inner wisdom to quiet your brain. If necessary, use the audio program that helps you do that I just mentioned. Counseling, whether clinical or spiritual, can also help you discern how to share your highest talents. To learn more about finding and sharing your special talents, helping others, see articles number 21, Identify and Fulfill Your Highest Purposes. Number 80, Why Are You on Earth Now? And the answer is SAGE training. And 117, You Might Be More Evolved If. So 2 comments on those articles. First of all, number 80, Why Are You on Earth Now? SAGE training, S-A-G-E. And SAGE is an acronym to help you remember the most common reasons why souls come to Earth. S, service to others. A, to have adventures, because this earthly experience is truly an adventure, especially when you remember the big picture of life. It's an exciting adventure. G, growth, learning, increasing your awareness and wisdom. And then E, enjoyment, all sorts of enjoyment, pleasure, entertainment, fulfillment. The other comment is the article number 117, You Might Be More Evolved If. I give credit to the comedian Jeff Foxworthy. You know, if you follow him, I think he's hilarious. He's got a shtick, you might be a redneck if. Well, I borrowed that from him, and there are some steps in there. You might be more evolved if. And I am told, and certainly was supported by Michael Newton's work on Life Between Lives, that many more advanced souls are teachers, they're healthcare providers, they serve people in another way. They just naturally gravitate toward that. So another reason to do that. All right, that's a lot. I hope you put this to use and let it shine. See you in the next video.